So Apex command button, value equal to sorry, save, and action is going to be save project, and to have one more button saying a clear. Don't have any method here to clear project. I'm going to clear the project. And here we're going to have a Apex column. In that Apex column, we have a header values, actions that you're going to have. Here I'm going to have two buttons. One button is to edit, and one button is to delete. So here we have to give and delete. And delete. Okay. Let's do a preview. I have edit and delete. Okay, it's two fields. Next output label. Name. Stay save and clear. I want to make this block first. Right from all projects. Now everything is there. So any questions so far? So we have a high level skeleton ready. Hello. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, Bala, yes.
Any questions so far? We have so far skeleton ready.
Just recap this Visual Force program.
That is sending. Okay. Visual Force is a simple one only. I have used some of the new tags that I will explain. So is all you clear, right? So only we have page block section items also we have familiar. Only we are new with the Apex input field. So I mentioned Apex input field has to be a the variable has to be a from object and the field. So then only it will be supported. If you assign any other variable, it will not be supported. So if you see here, the name is a text field, and this drop down is a this stage is a pick list field. So automatically I use the same tag, but the display is a different. Okay, and then I have to use one more called um, one more new tag called Apex um, page messages. Apex page messages. So this one, so we are adding some Apex page block messages over here, right? Add messages. So this is used to display some temporary messages in a Visual Force page. So here we have a severity to select like confirm, fatal, error, warning. We have a different forms of which will the color of text will be different based on this category. So the class is Apex pages is a class, and in this standard class we have a add message and a message or a sub methods of this class. So when the message you're trying to add a new message, we have to mention the severity and the message that what you want to display there. So these two are the basic parameters to the Apex page messages. Similarly, you can add any number of messages to the Apex add message. So so it will be rendered only if you mention this tag called Apex page messages. So wherever you put this tag, there you will see whatever the message that you're going to add that will be displayed in this part of the page. And then new tag that we use was the Apex input field. So I mentioned like the variable has to be as object and field we have to mention in that as object type field. So it will automatically set the UI for you. And the value again will be stored into this one. And if you want to give initial value also, you have to give value to this one so that the initial values will be there. So I cannot assign any values, so they are blank values or default values on that fields that you will be having. I don't have any default values, so those are blank values. And then this page block is much familiar, but only the new part was this one. So apart from if column like a field names, if you want to give any custom data in your column, instead of mentioning the value, you have to mention what you want to display in this column. Whatever that you put in this column, that will be displayed in each column. And apart from that, you will be having a header here, right? This will be called a header part. In header, if you want to set any value, you have to give this as a header value here. Or there will be one more tag called facet header. There also you can give any kind of action you want to give. In the facet also we can do, but that I will explain later. But we can use called header value tag to have your own name as a column name for your table. And then inside you can give like whatever you want here. You can mention there. Let's say I want a separator like a pipe symbol between um, those. And you can see, so you have like both are coming side by side, right? You want to see some spacing between them, so you can add one pipe. So I want to give some space or like more space. There will be some HTML tag called NBSP. Space, NBSP, so it will add some more space for you between your actions. Um, Other than that, any other thing we have? Hello. So let me quickly complete this one. So if I don't give any name and try to save, it has to give me a project name as a required. So I will give a new project from project form one. I'm going to give stage as not started and do a save. The required fields are missing, so the email fields are required. So it is giving very weird, right? So uh, I don't want to do this, and I want to make it get handled. So we have a method called try and catch. So if you get any exception, instead of breaking the page, you can handle those exceptions. For handling that exception, what we have is a try catch block. So in this try catch blocks, this is what the basic syntax of a try catch block. So try followed by the curly braces block, and then catch, you'll be having exception and the block. So if you what are the core that you want to make sure, if you have any errors that you want to handle, that you have to write inside this try block. And if there's any exceptions happen, then only it will enter into the exception block. If there are no exceptions, it will not enter into the block and it will follow the next code. So here I want to be these two lines in the try block, and then if I have any exception, I want to display as a neat message instead of a awkward message. Here I will do a message, and instead of the hardcore message, we can get a message from this exception. So I'll get an exception, and here we can do system debug for tracing back actually what is the issue. Error is ex dot get message, and there will be one more called get stack string stack trace. Okay, now I gave a project form one and give not started and do a save. See, now we have this one messages. It is saying that the email is a required field, so it is failing. So let me add an email also in my form. Best point look item. email. See, and I have to add this in my query as well. And I have a number of employees as well. So I'll add this one also in this one. This one. So in the field level itself, the project email is a required field. That's why I automatically getting this red mark. But name is not one. But I'm giving error message, right? So if I want to make it required in the UI also, here I can use a flag called something called required equal to true, so that in the UI also it will be displayed with a red mark, so that I will know. Okay, if I do a save, first thing will be on a project name and all required fields that you must enter the values. So I enter this one, I enter sorry, I enter this one and do a save, and then I have a, you must enter the value for this one. So I will enter something called testproject.com, and number of employees are at 10. I'm doing submit. Now the project is saved, and if you look at um, after save, did we after save, are we refreshing this form or not? After handle save, handle edit. So after doing the save, we are not fetching the projects, so it's not refreshing the list. So to try catch, where I would like to call this method. So I have this one, form one. So I'm going to add a new project, all2, and my email is going to be a test2.com, and then again I have something on record one, and this time I have a 12 employees, and do save. Project save, and you can see it got created over here. Okay, so next one is a clearing this one. So I want to cleared. Okay, now the next part was handling this edit and delete. For doing edit and delete, first I want to pass this index to a oh, sorry. First I need to pass this index of this row to the variable called project list index, something selected project index. To this I need to assign the value. So in the VF page also we can do this assignment. We cannot call a parameterized method from VF page to Apex class. But how we can do was we can declare the variables over here like a selected project index, and we can assign the values to it. So how we do that? We use a tag called called Apex Param. Apex Param. Here assign to is used to which object we're trying to assign the value. So we're trying to assign the value to a selected project index, and then what value we have to assign to it, the value. So here we need to know the index of the current row. So how we can do that? So here we have one more index thing we had. Where index or something. Mm, mm, mm. Maybe instead of this one. We can directly go to the project and we'll pass this value to the project. Mm, 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 mm. Save project, handle edit. Here nothing to do actually. We're not doing with the index. Instead, directly we'll assign the values using the Apex Param. Mm, so here there's something I need to explain here. Here we have to re-render FM, re-render form, handle delete. We also want to re-render form.
Sunil Gaur,
Yeah,
can we continue tomorrow? I feel like somewhat saturated.
yeah, okay. Fine then.
So
Yeah, the pending parts first. We have to only assign it to whatever the row we want to edit and delete. We have to pass the values to it and then um, do that operation over there. So remaining over then. Okay then. Any other questions before we closing? We'll continue tomorrow on this one. So just I will give a recap before we are closing. So here we have this form and a table. In this form, we have a save and clear buttons, and this form we're directly using input fields for everything. So here, if you try to give enter values also, it will be um, not allowed. If you try to say, it will be saying like invalid number. All this validation will be done by default without you being done for it. So this when using Apex input field, Visual Force page will take care of all the validations on that fields and the UI. And if there's any validations also, it will take care of it. But if you want to handle everything, you have to use a try catch block to handle those. And in the UI, if you want to display, we have to use a Apex page messages class to add a messages in the page. And those are the new tags today we explained. And apart from that, we are looking at the Apex column with the different header and adding your custom code inside the column value. So we have to use Apex column, then followed by header value. So whatever the value you want to display, the header you can display. And then whatever, if you have a command links or command buttons, you can display over here. Tomorrow I will explain how to pass the parameter or assign the parameters on click of any action on that. And then remaining all are mostly clear, I guess. If you have any question, you can ask. Otherwise, we can close for the day.
Okay, but I'm good.
Okay, then. Great. Thank you.
Thank
Uh,
you.
yeah, thank you. Bye. See you tomorrow, guys.